Lesson 73. In this lesson, we're going to learn yet another case. So far, you know the nominative case, the accusative case, and the ablative case for a total of 3 cases out of a possible 5. But in this lesson, we're going to learn about the genitive case. So after this lesson, you'll know a total of 4 cases. Let's take a look at the chart below, and if you do so, you'll see that the genitive case is listed second on our chart. And the genitive case is the case that we will use to show possession. If you look at the word that's circled in the chart, you'll see that that is the genitive singular form of the word nauta. And the form we see there within the circle is nautai. Keep in mind that nautai, the genitive singular, looks just the same as the nominative plural. Both the genitive singular and the nominative plural forms of nautai are spelled N-A-U-T-A-E. So in the examples below, I show how we can use the genitive case to show possession in Latin. Let's look at our first example. The first example says scapha nautai, and that means the sailor's boat. And here's the way we do it. First, we have the noun that is being possessed, and that's scapha. Then we have the noun that is doing the possessing. So the possessed noun comes first, and the noun that is doing the possessing comes second. And the noun that is doing the possessing, we put that in the genitive case. So scapha is in the nominative case, and nautai is in the genitive. And together they mean the boat of the sailor or the sailor's boat. In our next example, we have casa agricolae. Again, the word that is being possessed comes first, and that's casa. Casa means house. Then the word that is doing the possessing comes second, and that's agricolae. The word that is being possessed, casa, is in the nominative case, and the word that is doing the possessing is in the genitive case. So together, casa agricolae means the house of the farmer or the farmer's house. Next, we have an example of a slightly longer sentence. In scapha nautai sum. In this sentence, the word sum is the verb. That means I am. And then in scapha is a prepositional phrase, and that means in the boat. But after the word boat, we have the word nautai, and that's genitive. So that genitive word there, nautai, is possessing the word that came right before it. So the scapha, the boat, belongs to the sailor. So in scapha nautai sum means I am in the sailor's boat. And here in the text, I mentioned that you might be worried about confusing the genitive singular with the nominative plural. But the main thing to keep in mind here is that the genitive is going to come right after the noun that it possesses. So keep your eyes peeled and look for genitives coming right after another noun, and that will help you to translate these sentences. And the last thing I say here is that when you're translating, you have to decide whether you're going to use an apostrophe and the letter S, or if you're going to use the word of to show possession. And the way to decide is to pick the one that sounds best in English. Let's look at our exercises. In exercise 1, pecunia means money, and that's in the nominative case. Right after that, we have nautai, which has the AE ending that looks genitive. So in this case, nautai is genitive, and it's possessing pecunia. So number 1 will say, the money of the sailor, or the sailor's money. And I think the sailor's money in this case sounds better. In number 2, casa is in the nominative case, and agricolae is in the genitive case. So that's possessing casa. So number 2 says the house of the farmer or the farmer's house. And I think that the farmer's house, again, sounds better. In number 3, sumus is the verb. That means we are. And in scapha is a prepositional phrase. That means in the boat. But after the word boat, we see the word nautai, which is a genitive. So the word nautai, being in the genitive singular, is possessing the word scapha. So number 3 will say, we are in the boat of the sailor, or we are in the sailor's boat. And I think it sounds better to say, we are in the sailor's boat. In number 4, portas is the verb. That means you carry or you are carrying. Pecuniam is the direct object. And pecuniam is being possessed by the genitive agricolae. Notice how agricolae comes right after pecuniam. So number 4 will say, you are carrying the money of the sailor, or you are carrying the sailor's money. And I think it sounds better to say, you are carrying the sailor's money. In number 5, ambulat is the verb. That means he, she, or it is walking, but we don't need the he, she, or it because puella is the subject. Quotidie is an adverb that means daily, and ad casam is a prepositional phrase that means to the house. Right after the word casam, which means house, we see a genitive, and that is agricolae. So the word agricolae is possessing casam. So number 5 will say, the girl walks to the house of the farmer daily, or the girl walks to the farmer's house daily. And I think it's better to say to the farmer's house. In number 6, portamus is the verb, and that means we are carrying. Scafam is the direct object. A casa is a prepositional phrase that means from the house. And ad actam is a prepositional phrase that means to the seashore. So number 6 will say, we are carrying the boat from the house to the seashore. In number 7, we have the word said, dividing the sentence into 2 smaller, independent clauses. The first clause, insulas amamus, means we love the islands. And the second clause, silvam amatis, says y'all love the forest. So number 7 will say, we love the islands, but y'all love the forest. In number 8, est is the verb, and poeta is the subject. In casa is a prepositional phrase, and cum agricolis is a prepositional phrase. So number 8 will say, the poet is in the house with the farmers. In number 9, ambulamus is the verb. That means we walk or we are walking. Ad tabernam is a prepositional phrase that means to the shop. Sine pecunia is a prepositional phrase that means without money. And numquam is an adverb that means never. So number 9 will say, we never walk to the shop without money. In number 10, navigant is the verb. That means they sail or they are sailing. But we don't need to use the word they because nautai is the subject. Circum insulam is a prepositional phrase that says around the island. So number 10 will say, the sailors are sailing around the island.